Hello, Connie here. Okay, so I wrote a manifesto called I Am a Music Speaker. If you don't have a copy, there is a link to a copy in the description below. But I wanted to give you some backstory of how that came about and what that even means. Okay, I started piano lessons when I was 9 years old, and I took the very traditional lessons. I went for 30 minutes to my piano teacher's house, sat with her for those 30 minutes, came home, and I was then expected to practice. I think I was practicing 30 minutes a day. So my whole piano education was based in a number of minutes. It was like how much time you spent here, time you spent here, time you spent. Um, I really got to the point where I was pretty good. And I was an accompanist for a lot of different church groups and a lot of different school groups. And then I majored in piano performance and pedagogy in college. And so then I took a lot of the college theory and ear training and all those things. So I wanted to have like not just be able to play by myself in the basement. I wanted to be able to play so that other people really enjoyed my playing. I mean, I put in a lot of years of hard work. So that's what I wanted. I would love to be able to give concerts and have people just love the music. The problem was I was really scared when I performed and I could barely make it through. Like it was kind of like survival of the performance. That's where I was. I got stage fright a lot and I really didn't know how to deal with that. All right, so there I was, kind of the old vehicle was an X number of minutes for your lesson, X number of minutes of practice, and I wanted to perform well, but was pretty scared. Okay. Then one time there was this performance, and this was about right after I was out of college. I was playing at a recital. It was for my students, and I play at the very end. So I got up and I played this piece, and it was kind of a virtuosic piece. It had lots of scales and runs, and it was showy, but this time, okay, I really understood it. I knew the chord structure through it. Um, I had been in college performing a lot, getting better at not being so scared when I performed. And all the things lined up, and I was just in the zone when I performed. And I just felt it like I had goosebumps. And on the last chord, I had tears in my eyes. Like I totally felt this music. And at that minute, when I finished, I was a little scared to get up because I had to get up and look at the audience and they could see that I would be crying. So, but I stood up and I looked out and everyone that I could see had tears in their eyes and the audience was all on their feet giving me a standing ovation. It was one of the look, I remember it all these years later. It was a powerful, moving experience. That's what I wanted. But then I had to think, how did this happen? Because I want that to happen consistently. I want to be able to predict when that's going to happen, not just wait and hope it happens. And I want that for my students. I want them to experience that. The problem is, I was still stuck in kind of my same old ways of teaching. My students came to my house for X number of minutes, and I told them to practice for X number of minutes. So we're going through the same kind of thing that didn't really work. Okay, so I knew if I didn't figure something out, it would just kind of stay mediocre. Well, so this new opportunity has come up. All these years of teaching, I think there's been little pieces of this framework. I really believe that theory is important, so I've always taught theory as part of what I teach my students. I've also been really inspired, especially lately, the last few years. So when we had to go online for COVID, I had to get real inspired to make things work. But I've invested a lot in my personal growth and in my professional growth and development. And then there was an experience outside of music. I um, really wanted to write a novel. I have a couple of novel ideas for novels. But so I didn't study writing in college. I was studying piano performance. So I had to learn. I was just kind of finding all kinds of courses and videos and books about writing. And I learned a lot. There's a lot of skills. It's not just about knowing the English language. It's about really understanding it and how to use things and manipulate it. And there's skills about all different aspects of writing a novel. And so I was learning this, and all those things kind of came together to give me an epiphany. Um, Music is a language. I've always known that, but it just hit me different. Music is a language. Why am I not teaching it like one? So I created this new framework for teaching called Music Speak. Now, like I said, bits of this framework have been present all along in my teaching, but it just all came together. Music Speak has 5 parts. There's reading, writing, speaking, understanding, and then expressing. The crucial parts for language. Reading is just so you can look at the page on the music and understand all that music stuff that's on there. You know what it means. Writing is knowing the correct way to write all that stuff on the page. Speaking it is your skills on your instrument, being able to play smooth and fast or slow and have control. That's your speaking. That's how you play, how you get the sound across. Understanding, that's like the reading and writing, but it's on a deeper level. It's looking at the music and understanding what key signature we're in, how the chords work together. That's the kind of stuff I was learning on how to write a novel. I didn't get great at writing novels. I did write one, but that's the kind of thing that we're learning. And then the final step is the expressing, and that's everything you need to know to be able to perform and make people feel what you're feeling in the music. And that is getting over stage fright, for one thing, or learning to live with it. I don't know that I'm ever over it. I still do get nervous when I perform, but it's because I want to do a really good job. And some of it's just excitement, and you learn how to perform with it and how to manipulate the language to make people really feel. You really become an artist at that level. So um, I include those steps in my lessons. And I have theory classes and other group classes that help to supplement those 5 different parts of this framework. And as a result, my passion is growing for my own music and for teaching. And some of my students have had great results. Marcy, 1 year, she's an adult student. She got together with her whole family at Christmas. And she took a book of Christmas music and sat at the piano and played Christmas music. She said it went on most of the night. Um, the family was around singing with her. She was able to play. She wasn't stumbling along. It it was so much fun. She sent me a long email thanking me so much for that experience because it was one of the best Christmas memories ever for her. So I'm so excited that that happened for her. Then Kayleen, she's an adult student as well, um, learned a song for her dad. It was her dad's favorite, one of his favorites. And she learned it and played it so beautifully and then got to perform it for him. And that I'm sure was such a bonding moment for them. And so I'm so happy that she got to use music that way. And then Katie, she was a teenage student. She had to perform at church. And so we went through some of the techniques of how to express emotion in your playing. And she said when she stood up at the end, people had tears in their eyes, just like I'd experienced. So she got to experience that same thing. Okay, so this is a teaching system that can help my students speak the language of music. And that's the name of my manifesto. I am a music speaker. I also have rebranded my studio from being the Piano University. I've changed the name to the Musical Garden Hub because I want to create a vision and an idea of planting seeds, nurturing those seeds and blooming, and just this process of growth. So now you understand all that's behind the manifesto of I am a music speaker.